Good afternoon, everybody. Today I'm your special guest here. So if you guys are looking for 10 minutes of fire, I'm going to focus on how to get listings. My name is Rich Tomasini. Last year in 2022, we closed 9,984 transactions in 14 countries. I did $43 million of business when I came over to our brokerage here 6 years ago. And we are going to work on exclusively how to get business and lead generate. In this business, you're a lead generator or you're a hobbyist. So let's get right at it. So there's two ways to lead generate for free. One is social media, branding, your ecosphere, and the other is picking up the phone and prospecting. We're going to focus on plan B here, which is prospecting. A lot of people are going after FISBOs, and you got to think about it. FISBOs are actually programmed to hate realtors. That's why they're trying to bypass us, even at their own expense. So I'm not saying that we shouldn't go after FISBOs. I'm just saying that you're working with an audience that's already sort of allergic to real estate agents. With expired listings, you're working with a group of people that had already tried the process but failed. So the key is to get out of the people pile and make sure that you're able to stand out in the crowd on the first sentence so you can get to the next step. What that looked like for me was calling expireds that were 6 months to 12 months old. Anything that expires a few days ago is going to be subjected to the same problems. One, they're still very upset that it didn't sell and they're mad at their agent. Two, there could be a 30-day window in which the agent gets paid if it sells. In many of the states, at least in North Carolina where I am, that's part of the contract. Three, everybody out of Keller Williams and all these other training schools here that have people kind of amped up to go out there and get business are calling them. So they have sometimes three, four, five different brokerages, hundreds of agents calling them at the same time, all of them brand new. So to me, it's like, why swim upstream when you don't have to? When you look back 6 months or 12 months from now, nobody's calling for their business. So it automatically sets you up for a path of least resistance. The first thing you got to say when you're calling these folks is, hey, listen, my name is Rich Tomasini. I am with so and so, and I am not a new agent and I am not a telemarketer. And I don't typically make phone calls like this. But right now, our inventory is so skinny. We are looking for homes to sell. I see that you tried to sell your house 6 to 12 months ago and it didn't work out. Either the realtor misled you, or maybe you weren't in a mindset where you followed the realtor's advice. Uh, which was it? Get them talking right away. It's almost always the realtor's fault, right? So then what you could say is, look, I'd like to revisit what the value of your house is. If we're able to achieve what you tried to achieve last time, or possibly better or worse, I'm not sure. I've got to do a little bit of research here, but with our market so skinny, we might be able to get pretty close to like all-time highs. Would you revisit the idea of selling the house? I could tell you one thing: 6 months or 12 months ago, there's no way that we could have sold this house and probably put you in another house, right? It's so hard to find a place to land when we were in a market where people were paying astronomical pricing, waiving due diligence. There was no inventory for you to land. So what I noticed is a lot of my sellers were very skeptical to sell their house because there was no place for them to land. We are in a marketplace now where we can actually make two transactions happen concurrently. Big deal. Unlike all the other real estate agents that are calling you, I'm not looking at locking you guys up for 4 to 6 months on a listing contract. It's just not, we don't need that much time. We have 19 days on the market in our market. I need a 3 week listing agreement. I'll spend all the money. I'll do all the time. I'll lead the process. You'll make the decisions if the number works well. It's got to work well for you in the sense that you got to get what you need out of the house. And then we have to be able to take care of my commission in it as well. And if there's no room, I'll be very frank with you right off the bat. That would be one way of pitching them. It's longer. You have to be a little bit more confident and you're going to deal with a little bit more adversity. The second way is, hey, listen, I saw that you listed your house 6 or 12 months ago, whatever it is. Let's use 12 months for this illustration, right? 12 months ago, you listed the house and then you pulled it from the market. Did you change your mind? Are you planning on staying over the next 2 years at your property? Just get them right into where they have to pick one fork in the road because we're going to ask questions we know the answers to. So if they say, no, we're staying here long term, then what you got to say at that point is, no problem. I just was curious if you factored in the possibility that our house prices go down in the next 2 or 3 years and not up. It's hard to predict when you go far out, but it looks like as we approach 8% interest rates, that this might be a real long-term decision. If you decide to make a call where we're going to stay for 2 or 3 years, it might end up being 5 or 6 to reclaim what you tried to get 6 months ago. If you're okay with that, totally fine. I'm not a psychic. I'm not exactly sure where it's going to go. All I know is that these interest rates and the inventory starting to build from all this new construction that's respawned the last several years are going to be things that we have to deal with. If they're still at a hard no, would you mind if I check back with you in 2 or 3 years? I'm very systematic. I'll put a note in my calendar in 2025 to just circle back and see if this is still the game plan, right? Then you collect their information, you put them right in, right? Now, if they say, I'm not sure, or they give you like a red herring excuse, that's no problem. You got to say, look, I'm not looking for you to say that you want to list or not. I'm just curious if you're open to it, because the one thing that's going to probably drive this entire decision is what we can get for your house and how long it'll take for us to sell it and what your net cost will be, your net proceeds will be if we're able to achieve it. So I do a real quick CMA. It'll tell you the average days on the market. It'll tell you the list price to sell price ratio, and we'll be able to factor in exactly what your check's going to look like, pretty close to the penny. It takes me about 24 hours. I can look at all the media that you have on your last MLS and get back to you in 24 hours. Is that something that you're interested in spending a 5 minute debrief on the phone? Get them to a yes or no immediately. If they say no, then what you could say is, no problem at all. I don't want to give unsolicited evaluations, but you have my cell number. Save me as the aggressive realtor that called you to sell your house. This way you have me in your phone. You can even use that title. My first name isn't important. My number is the most important thing. The second thing is if they say, maybe we're open to it, then you got to say, okay, no problem. When I was looking at the MLS, I just want to verify, was the square footage right? I saw that your agent didn't put the school zones in there. That could have been a handicap for you. Was there anything that we missed in this original listing that was part of the reason why it didn't sell that I should address now? And get that answer and then get right back to them. What you guys want to do is you want to stick out of the people pile. Every realtor's on some kind of real script and they sound robotic and it's exhausting and people don't want to talk about it. You got to just come right out. In the 1 minute or 30 seconds that you have with them on the phone, they have to hear that you're confident. They have to hear that you're ready to go. If you sound like you're in a subservient mindset and that you're just going to be like, oh, hey, can I please take a look at it? Forget it. You lost them right off the bat. What you got to say is, look, I'm busy and I don't like making calls any more than you like receiving calls like this. But if I'm waiting for my clients to have a house pop up on Zillow, then it puts me in the same group of people that I'm competing with. And I don't ever consider myself someone who's waiting for things to happen. So I actually decided to call expired listings from 6 to 12 months ago all morning, trying to see if I can get an advantage for my clients where something pops up and only they know about it. These are the type of ways that I behave as a real estate agent, and that's helpful for buyers, but it's also helpful for sellers in the sense that I'm assertive. I don't want to deal with the norms where everyone else is just waiting for something to happen. So you got to be confident, you got to be quick, you have to have this sort of tonality and body mechanics to where your time is just as important as theirs. I think you have to talk fast just to get in, but most importantly, you have to sort. And what you're going to start to find out is that if I make 10 expired phone calls 5 days a week, I've got 50 phone calls. I got 200 calls a month. I got 2,400 opportunities a year. My database is starting to swell. My confidence is starting to swell. My ability to sort through conversations and predict objections that are coming or conditions that are coming in the way are starting to develop. At the end of the year, you have 2,400 people that you're dripping. At the end of 5 years, you got 12, 13,000 people. You will never have to solicit business again. So we have to get systematic with the follow up. You don't need an automatic dialer. You can just call them straight up. Use Vulcan or Reddit or any one of these companies that give you cell numbers and call 6 to 12 month listings. In the first 30 seconds, if they can hear you're confident, that you don't know if you want to move forward with the listing until you revisit the price, and three, that it's a 3 week listing contract or a 5 week listing contract, that's going to pull you away from everything that they expect to hear on the phone. So one of the ways that you go from being transactional to transformational is by leading the conversation, being clear about what you want, and being able to sort through people. I'd rather sort through 10 or 20 or 30 expired listings than have to argue and have a chess match with one angry, disgruntled person. We don't want listings where we don't like the sellers. We want listings to where the sellers want to sell the house and that we're going to be competent and guide them through the process. The way that you get lots of business is sorting through people, not by being in a combative style and trying to convince people that this is the right sell. I'll push back once, maybe I'll push back twice. If they're super combative, I let them go. There's no point in it because essentially, if that's the only way that they can find affection for you, good luck. You're gonna have to fight through the whole listing. We don't need it. We don't need it that bad. So those are just basic quick tips on how to get listings for free with basically one phone lookup service and an iPhone and a yellow pad, and be ready to rock and roll. The other thing that's going to be really good is it's going to get you tightened up on your CMAs. So if you can do CMAs in 25 minutes, you're going to be legendary in this business. Start with those good habits. Make sure every single person that you talk to, you put a note either on the Reach app on your phone or in your CRM and say, look, cool, not interested. Make sure that they're on customized drip campaigns and circle back. If you're front of mind and you're in their bubble, you're going to start getting business. Everything has to be cohesive and linked with the other thing. It's like a vertebrae. It's like a spine. Like every part, you have to have every part links to the other part. So that's my 10 minutes of fire for you guys. I hope that's helpful. I sold 832 listings in my career. I did them all through prospecting, all through relationship based business, and then all through referrals. You pay your dues for like 6 months, 12 months this way, and you'll rock and roll. And then if you become a very, very proficient listing agent, then we can start scaling into the team, leveraging 50% referrals for 2 minutes on the file versus 100% of the commission for 40 hours on the file. You can start having buyers agents, EAs, TCs, and really build out. I hope this is helpful for you guys, and I'll do anything I can for my man, Brent Gove. Take care.
Rich, you're a legend, man. You're a legend. Thank you so much. And hey, people are already requesting the recording. So just so you know, these calls, give us 24 hours, but they'll be up next day on Brent Gove's YouTube channel. There's over 1,000 videos there for you guys to digest. And especially if you're a new realtor, just dive into those videos there. I think we're almost at 1,200 videos. They're all really good, just like this one. Thank you, Rich. Awesome. See you guys next week. Thank you, everybody. And Brent Gove will be with us next week. Come back and see us. We're really happy you came today.